There's over 100 levels in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and today I'll be ranking them based on how interesting and fun they are to play. So with that, let's get her ranked. 129, Hurry Hurry. Literally hit a box and run to the right for like 5 seconds. I get it, the game is teaching us how to run, but did it have to be this basic? 128, Raise the Stage. While I do appreciate the Mario Sunshine music, let's just be real, you jump a few times and get the seed. That's the extent of that. 127, Lights Out. Hit the switch and get the Wonder Seed. I guess it'd be kind of hard if you don't have a decent jumping badge. Nah, you know what, probably not. 126, Unreachable Treasure. Hit invisible blocks and get a Wonder Seed. It could not be more basic. The setup is so obvious for the entire level. 125, Kick It Out My Way. You literally just take out the out my way. It can be a little tricky getting to him without getting hit, but that doesn't mean much when this is the only thing you do. 124, Treasure Vault. You'll take the drill power up and drill through a few sections to get some coins and a Wonder Seed. It's as simple as that. 123, An Empty Park. One of the most annoying search party levels. This one makes you jump around like an idiot looking for invisible blocks. There's really nothing else to it. Even with a sensor badge, it's still a pain in the butt to find everything. 122, Pipe Park. Oh boy, more cryptic flower coins to find. Pipe Park has some really killer ones, like let's just walk into this blue block to go through a pipe and boom, now you're in the foreground. Oh, and also push this wall and it just moves now. I'm so glad there's only a few of these kinds of levels in the game. 121, Puzzling Park. Well, here we go again. Some of these flower coins are in completely random invisible blocks. Like this one here. How would you know to jump in this one spot? Again, I know you can use the sensor badge, but then that makes these levels even more pointless. Why not give me some sort of hint in the level instead of making me cheat with the sensor? 120, Item Park. Probably my favorite search party level, just because of the clever use of power-ups. You'll use bubbles to take out these cheap, your trunk to smack this ball, dig into the wall, and more to get through this one. 119, Tron Piranha Plants. Punch the plants from below. They'll never see it coming. I don't know why we even had to do this to them. Like, for real, they're just enjoying their 15-minute break. 118, Wonder Token Tunes. These barely qualify as levels. It's basically just an excuse to play some nostalgic music. And this song is from Mario World, so it's kind of neat, I suppose. 117, Bouncy Tunes. Another nostalgic music level. This time the song is from Mario Sunshine, and I like that one more, so I guess that's why it's listed higher. 116, Watery Wonder Tokens. Water sinks and you'll get the flower coins on the way down. Compared to the other break time levels, it's one of the more engaging ones, which isn't saying much. 115, Floating Wonder Tokens. Just bounce around on the squishy jello in the middle, or use the blooms to get the flowers and you're good. 114, Cloud Cover. Hit this block and get 5 flower coins. It takes very little effort to complete. It's just an alright bonus stage. 113, Rever Run. This reminds me so much of a Mario Maker level, but it's inside a mainline game. And it's a fine enough sequence, but the whole thing is over in like 10 seconds. 112, Pop-Up Hoppo. You smash these springs to launch a Hoppo to the right side, opening a gate. It's a neat concept, but I'm glad it was delegated to being this bite-sized stage instead of a full-on level. 111, Hot Hot Rocks. Throw water at all the heated rocks and you get the seed. A cool idea all around. 110, Dolphin Kick 2. I kinda prefer the first tutorial level over this one, just because here you avoid a few moving blocks in the water and not much more beyond that. 109, Dolphin Kick 1. Swim as fast as possible with the Dolphin Kick to grab all the 10 flower coins. If you don't know what you're doing, it can be a bit tricky to grab all 3 of them. 108, Parachute Cap 1. You jump around with the parachute. Since it's the first version, it's incredibly basic and takes less than a minute to get through. 107, Invisibility 1. It speaks for itself. You have to finish this level invisible. Although really, it's not that hard because you can see the clouds of dust around your feet, and even pick up jars as you go. It's still fun that this badge exists at all though. 106, Invisibility 2. Like the first tutorial stage, this one is the same thing but you bounce around. And there's still lots of clouds, making this not as challenging as you'd think. 105, Spring Feet 1. We're continuing the tutorial stages. This one is all about the spring feet. Yep, you just bounce around and I know, pretty wild, huh? 104, Spring Feet 2. It's bouncy time, oh boy! The only challenging part is at the end. The jumps are just high enough to be tight to reach, but otherwise it's very similar to the first one. 103, Floating High Jump 1, another tutorial stage. This one for the big floaty jump. There's not much to say about it, aside from the fact that it does teach you how the badge works. 102, Crouching High Jump 1, more badge tutorial levels. Now we're trying to learn about the crouching high jump. It does a good job showing us how long it takes for the jump to charge, so thanks a bunch, game, for doing that. 101, Jet Run 1, it's the tutorial for running fast as heck. And it's over pretty damn quickly, but it does a solid job teaching the basics, because it can be a little wonky to use at first. 100, Jet Run 2, you run like a jet again, although frankly I feel like they should have removed the arrows from the background entirely, you know, to make it a little harder to time. 99, Parachute Cap 2, it's another badge stage, this one actually being fairly tough on the first go, which makes it kind of fun to play through. You really have to understand the parachute's momentum. 98, Zip Go Round. Get 5 flower coins while zipping across the stage at all times. It's a super basic idea, but it feels nice to time out your jumps right and nab everything you need. 97, Crouching High Jump 2. Time for more crouching and getting extra high jumps by some miracle. It's a lot of fun because we have to jump off donut blocks, meaning we don't have as much time to mess around. 96, Boosting Spin Jump 1. You'll do a bunch of spin jumps and stand on pipes to get across as well. Yup, it's spin jumping alright. 95, Boosting Spin Jump 2. It's more boosting spin jump content, and it's a bit more challenging than the first level. So sure, I guess it's better for that reason. 94, Grappling Vine 1. Our first time using the grappling vine. While it is pretty neat, I do wish we could aim it in any direction we wanted. This tutorial level is pretty fun regardless. 93, Floating High Jump 2. Some of these jumps are actually pretty tight and kind of scary to make. You wouldn't think, but try it for yourself, it's the truth. 92, Wall Climb Jump 1. It's yet another tutorial level for this badge, but there's something so inherently enjoyable about wall climbing. It's just satisfying getting all this extra height with your jumps. So for that reason, it makes it one of the best badge tutorials. 91, Grappling Vine 2. Wow, another Grappling Vine stage. Can't believe they did 2 of them. Whoa, crazy. This one is a lot more invigorating than the first one, using all these grind rails as the walls. 90, Timer Switch Climb. A fun little climb where you need to keep hitting the timers. There's not much to it, but it's an enjoyable little skirmish. 89, Timer Switch Dash. It's similar to the climbing one, but a tiny bit more fun. Both of the timer switch levels are pretty interchangeable depending on the day. 88, Tumble House. The entire stage tilts, and you'll go around getting the flower coins. Mario Bros. Wonder knows exactly how to make these mini levels so satisfying and to the point. 87, Wall Climb Jump 2. This is somehow the most difficult platforming gets with wall climbing. You know what I'm talking about, it's the red walls that force you to time out your wall climbs or you'll fall. I really wish more main levels in the game had obstacles like this. 86, Leaping Smackerel. There's only a small amount of water levels in Mario Bros. Wonder, and this is one of them. The only thing really worth mentioning is the Wonder Effect. The big Smackerel fish eats the level and you have to guide it around to get flower coins. So it stands out, but it's also just a water level. 85, The Sharp Trial Launch to Victory. Well, it's an auto-scroller that tries to do something different. There's a Hoppy Cat trapped inside the bamboo-like platform, and you'll use that to hit blocks and get certain secrets. So this auto-scroller is at least somewhat interactive, and the Wonder Seed makes you a Hoppy Cat, but with tougher platforming compared to some of the other stages. 84, Fluff Puff Peaks Flying Battleship, the first true auto-scroller, and it's a pretty fun one. I like how the Wonder Effect has Bowser in the background shooting lasers at you the whole time, and while it's reused a few times, it adds a lot to the stage. Although the so-called boss at the end is kind of lame, you just run right and hit a button. 83, Deep Magma Bog Flying Battleship, the final airship of the game, and the most intense one too. The Wonder Effect has more Bowser lasers as you'd expect, but strangely, you can slow down the auto-scrolling with the pulleys. I don't get why that works, but it's kind of a neat feature. 82, Petal Isles Flying Battleship. It's more of what you'd expect, but it also kind of isn't. You'll spend most of the time flying in Luckatoo clouds dodging bullet bills. It's a cool concept that you'd normally only see in a Mario Maker level, and the Wonder Effect is again Bowser's lasers, but yeah, this one is pretty good. 81, Secrets of Shova Mansion. A pretty decent puzzle level, although it is on the slow side since you push a lot of big blocks around. It's not too bad though, but the Wonder Effect is kind of weird. You basically just have to keep pushing walls to avoid getting squished by a Bowser statue, and that's it. 80. Pipe Rock Plateau Palace, the first castle in Mario Wonder, although I guess they're called palaces, technically speaking. The Wonder effect is neat. Any pipes that you get near fall from the ceiling, so obviously you gotta avoid those. But the Bowser fight is so lame. It's just Bowser Jr. again. He makes you big and then small, and it functions exactly the same as a new Super Mario Bros. Koopaling fight. Oh joy. 79. Sun-Baked Desert Palace. Well, we've got another castle, and the wonder effect for this one is switching back and forth between the game running slow-mo and super fast, which can make it a little hard to avoid spikes and stuff if you're not careful. And the boss fight again is disappointing. It's technically different from the others, but not by much. 78. The Sugar Star Trial Across the Night Sky. A surprisingly quick level. Once you get past these sugar stars and grab the Wonder Seed, you're invincible for the rest of the stage. It's satisfying to plow through the level and grab coins, but there's also not much to it. 77. Fluff Puff Peaks Palace. Another palace, but this time the enemies magically spawn in trying to attack. And the wonder effect goes for the old shadow aesthetic. It's really nice to see this used a few times, honestly, especially seeing the contrast of colors with the enemies in their fire. The boss fight is Bowser Jr. again, but I guess it's slightly more interesting. You run around on ice and this gooey stuff, so sure, that's better. 76. Robert Cove. The birds are feeling hungry, I guess. They'll dive into the water as you try to swim through it. The wonder effect is also pretty sweet, as the water flips in the opposite direction. Robert Cove has a fun spin on your typical water stage. 75. Valley Full of Snoodles. It's a stampede of Snoodles. They bounce around the stage and can be a little hard to predict sometimes, but the level itself is fun. The wonder effect is nothing crazy though. It basically just plays the stage in slow motion, and that's all there is to it. 74. Armods on the Roll. Your typical desert stage, but with a bunch of Armods that roll around the level. The wonder effect is a more basic one too. Everything just plays twice as fast. 73. Deep Magma Bog Palace. It's another castle. This one adds in the Dragon Boneyard things for good measure, as well as these cool looking fire fellas that came right out of 96. The wonder effect this time is more goo. And I also like that this is the most interesting Bowser Jr. fight, but that's really not saying much. 72. Pipe Rock Rumble. This is a series of levels where the goal is to defeat enemies as fast as possible. This is again another great change of pace and can be a lot of fun to try to do quickly. 71. Fluff Puff Kerfuff. Another KO Arena level, but we fight slightly harder enemies. I kind of like needing a bit more strategy to take these enemies out compared to the other ones. 70. Pedal Metal. It's more or less a KO arena, and you take out Cheep Cheep and Mamas. Honestly, all these levels could be interchanged depending on which enemies you like to fight more. 69. Sun-Baked Skirmish. Yet another KO arena. This one has some fun enemies to take out like the seated plants and mummy dudes. Definitely one of the more engaging levels. 68. Fungi Funk. Wow, it's another KO arena! Again, I really enjoy these levels a lot. They really are a fun change of pace, but the only real difference between them is the enemies. And we get to fight doors in this one, so that's fantastic. 67. Magma Flare Up. Guess what? It's another KO arena. Oh my god! But now you're fighting some of the tougher enemies Mario Wonder could throw at you. 66. Welcome to the Flower Kingdom, the very first level in the game, and it's fun to run through. You're introduced to the Elephant power-up and how Wonder Seeds work. The first Wonder effect is fairly basic in comparison to the rest of the game. The pipes just wiggle around and move a bit, but you can't really go wrong with this one. 65. Cruising with Linking Lifts. This is a really neat idea. You create the platforms yourself by hitting them, and they get attached from behind. I love this concept, but you can also skip it entirely because there's so many platforms that make that possible. The wonder effect is alright. A bunch of Lekkatus in the background start throwing coins and also flower coins. Get 5 of those for your seed and you're good. 64. Another uncharted area, Swaying Ruins. There sure is a lot of swaying in this one, and navigation can be a tad cumbersome at times. You'll stand on these, baby womps to get around, as well as tear apart more mummy dudes. And the wonder effect makes the floor slippery with goo, which is the last thing I'd expect. 63. The Anglefish Trial, Ready, Aim, Fly. A bunch of these anglefish soar out of the ground. They're similar to Cheep Cheeps, but a bit fancier looking, I suppose. And the wonder effect has us jumping up, passing through clouds while using anglefish to get extra height. 62. Pipe Rock Plateau Special Bounce Bounce Bounce. For the special world, this level is fairly short. You bounce on a bunch of hoppos that are rolling over spikes, and that's about it. It's a little scary if you mess up your jump, but it's really not that bad. 61. Swimming. The Wiggler races are great, although this one requires a lot of swimming. While the dolphin kick helps a lot, it's not required to win. 60, countdown to drop down. The blocks this time all have numbers that go down every time you step on them. This leads to some scary platforming occasionally, but by the end, it turns into an auto-scroller that lets you jump multiple times before you'd fall, kind of defeating its purpose. Plus, you can skip it with a Legato Cloud, but I do like the wonder effect. You just skydive while grabbing coins and it's pretty enjoyable. 59, Swamp Pipe Crawl. A bunch of snails are crawling around a poisonous area. You also got these sumo bro dudes pushing pipes for some reason, which actually is a big part of the level. Fixing the split pipes is the main point of the puzzles. The wonder effect is more wiggly pipes with a crazy looking background, although this time the platforming is somewhat dangerous being right over the poison and whatnot. 58, Angry Spikes and Sinking Pipes. Spike makes his grand return, and he's throwing colorful spike balls during the wonder effect. This is definitely the highlight of the level. There's a bit of a dance number where you have to avoid the spike balls, and the background has this crazy claymation looking animation with the spikes jamming out. The core level itself is just a lot of pipes, which isn't too bad. 57, Scram Skedaddlers. I like these little skedaddler guys, they're pretty cool. This level is all about chasing them down to get the coins that they've got, and the chase can be fun. The wonder effect is a more basic one. A bunch of stars rain down from the sky, but it feels amazing to just plow through barrels and watch coins get sucked into your body. 56, Color Switch Dungeon. Mario Maker blocks make their grand appearance in a mainline 2D Mario, and they're used to a great degree. You'll be hitting the switches to change grind rail directions and blocks. It makes for a nice little puzzle-themed level. Much better than the Search Party ones. This is how you work with puzzles. 55, Wavy Ride Through the Magma Tube. Another auto-scroller. This one is a bit on the generic side. Lava's on the floor and ceiling, and you just kind of avoid it the whole time. As for the wonder effect though, Spike just randomly appears and starts breathing fire rocks at you. I don't know why we're suddenly experiencing Spike supremacy, but honestly, I'm all here for it. Aside from that, it's a decent enough level. 54, Pokepede Pass. It's a beautiful snowy day, filled with Pokepedes punching through snow blocks. It's a more basic snow level, but a fun one to romp through. I do like these random owls though, as they're kind of cool, and the wonder effect is fairly interesting. A snowstorm is brought on and lots of extra snow pours down on you, changing the level layout. 53, Rolling Ball Hall. Lots of balls are rolling around this cave. There's not much crazy going on here until the wonder effect. This one has much larger spike balls chasing you down. The screen even tilts a bit, and at the end there's a gigantic one that's a one-hit KO if you touch it. So nothing crazy, but it's still solid. 52, Muncher Fields. There's a level like this in Mario Bros. 3 too, where you have to run across a bunch of munchers using stars. That's basically what this one is like, and it's pretty fun. The Wonder Seed makes everything dark again, but now these specific platforms move depending on how much to the left or right you are, so that adds a new element to the mix. 51, Blooms of the Desert Skies. Ever wanted to bounce on a bunch of balloon enemies? Well, today is your lucky day. You'll bounce off the blooms as you make your way through the stage. And the wonder effect is amazing. You turn into a big balloon yourself and fly around the sky grabbing coins and stars. 50, Up Shroom Down Shroom. It's time to smash a bunch of innocent pumpkins. This level has a lot of mushrooms that bounce around. The wonder effect changes the place to night and plays a pretty groovy song, so that's neat. It's one of the more interesting levels. 49, Dragon Boneyard. I want to know who dug out all these dragon fossils and turned them into a rotating obstacle, and ask them why. In all honesty though, this one obstacle is used in a variety of interesting ways, and the wonder effect turns one of the dragons into an alive one. It's honestly pretty sick. I like this dragon guy. He just takes a quick bath in lava like it's nothing. What a badass. 48, Up and Down with Puffy Lifts. I know these are clouds, but they kind of just look like cakes to me. And the more weight you put on them, the more they sink down and can even disappear. It's a solid way to spice up the platforming, and the wonder effect turns you into a cake. This is the best transformation ever, let's just be honest. 47, The Desert Mystery. I'm a big fan of these super tall toilet paper fellas, and you have to pull their towel off to get around the level. The wonder effect is also pretty sweet. An entire pyramid is formed out of the ground, and you're required to chase the Wonder Seed through it. So all in all, this is a pretty creative one. 46, Here Come the Hoppos. I mean, come on. How can you not love these big ol' chonkers? You can bounce off the Hoppos to get a ton of height, which is a lot more fun than you'd think. They're even used to reach secret areas in the sky. The wonder effect is the Hoppos bouncing around uncontrollably, and the super big one has the Wonder Seed. I hope Hoppos stick around after this game. 45, Mountaineering. You're racing a Wiggler. The thrill of flying through this level feels amazing. This kind of reminds me of the You vs. Boo stages in Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, but a lot better in Wonder. The Wiggler is even roller skating. That's how you know he's giving it his all. 44. Spelunking. Very similar to mountaineering, but now you have to worry about poison rising from below, so that makes this one a bit more tense, which I'm a fan of. 43. Nosher Lair. A bunch of Noshers eat everything in sight. Blocks, coins, you name it. They're a little creepy too, which makes the wonder effect even better because a massive rate of them chases you down. 42. Out My Way Valley. I hope you like ice getting chucked at your face because the Out My Ways like to kick them around. It's a neat gimmick since you can choose to take them out or slide on the ice blocks to get to hidden areas. And the wonder effect is a big ass snowball that takes out the goal pole and later reveals that it's jammed inside the snowball you've been running across. 41. Flight of the Bloops. A more exciting bloomp level compared to the others, considering we actually have to bounce off them to get across big gaps. It's more on the thrilling side, and the Wonder Seed has us bouncing on another magnificently large bloomp. 40. Hot Hot Hot. Wow, what a title for a level. A bunch of lava blocks keep igniting themselves, and you'll need to use water to put them out, and you gotta be careful of your jumps with this one. I love how the wonder effect is literally what you need the whole time. It's a bunch of big water bubbles with flower coins floating around. 39. Bull Rush Coming Through. I'm a big fan of the rhino dudes. You can lure them to break a bunch of blocks for you and are used for some small puzzles. So for that, it's pretty engaging, and the wonder effect is awesome. A stampede of Bull Rush fly through the stage and destroys everything in sight while you stand on top and watch. And for some reason, the flagpole is like 200 feet tall and it's never explained why. 38. Pole Block Passage. Climbing poles is not a new thing in Mario titles, but being able to spawn them from hitting blocks certainly is. You never really know which direction they'll dart out in, which makes this a solid one. And the wonder effect is a bunch of poles growing however they darn feel like it. 37. Beware of the Rifts. You do have to be pretty aware. The rifts remind me a lot of the Bowser stages from Mario Galaxy, as you'll take damage touching them. And the wonder effect is a Cosmic Clone Chase, but he's very slow, so he's not much of a concern. But just running through the level and grabbing the flower coins are still a blast. 36. Bull Rush Express. It's more of the rhino dudes, but this time the entire level revolves around the Wonder Seed. You're standing on a stampede again, but the level is more challenging. There's also some P-block coins you can go for too for the heck of it, and I dig the more engaging platforming. 35. Jump, Jump, Jump. The title is pretty self-explanatory. You gotta jump over all these blocks that appear when the next beat of the song hits, and the song gets faster and faster, which makes this one of the most exhilarating levels to play. You can't make any mistakes, and the beat is also pretty catchy. 34. Taili's Toxic Pond. This sure is one messed up pond if the water is instead this oozy goo that kills you in one hit. It's a great level with the drill. The wonder effect is the most strange of them all though. It's a literal quiz where you have to answer 3 questions. It's so random and catches you so off guard, but I kind of love it at the same time. 33. Rolla Koopa Derby. The Koopa Troopas roller skate. What more do you really need? This is kind of the main gimmick of this level, and it's just fun to watch the Koopas having a fun day for themselves. The wonder effect is pretty trippy too. The day becomes night and these neon-like platforms appear that you have to walk your way around to find where to go in order to collect 5 flower coins. A fantastic level all around. 32. Bluebird Roost. The first place you'll use the bubble power-up. You'll hop through this cave while jumping along these straw platforms that these birds somehow make. But that's not all they can do, because with the wonder effect, they spit out massive rainbow bubbles that you'll bounce off of to get tons of height. 31. Piranha Plants on Parade. For the second level, it honestly goes pretty hard at setting the tone for how weird wonder effects can get. This stage has a bunch of singing and dancing piranha plants, which is so goofy. And if you kill the singing ones, you actually hear them get cut out of the song, which is just wild. We get to use the fire flower here. There's some fun rainbow note blocks that let you jump higher. It's a really solid stage. 30. The Midway Trial. Hop to it. This is a more interesting version of the Hoppy Cat Trial, since it's vertically based platforming and is a tad more tight. I also like these pot dudes that you can just kind of chuck around, and the wonder effect transforms you into a Hoppy Cat yourself. So overall, a pretty solid level that's got a nice flow to it. 29. Missile Meg Mayhem. Oh boy, it's a new kind of bullet bill. I really like the missiles because they don't just go down in one hit. They slowly sink to their doom and you can use them as your own personal platform. And the wonder effect is pretty sick too. A massive group of missile megs soar into the sky, covering the air in rainbow smoke. 28. An Uncharted Area, Wubba Ruins. It is so wild to me that Super Mario Land 2, of all games, gets a callback in Mario Bros. Wonder. This goo-like substance isn't quite like water since you'll slip through it in tiny bursts. It's used in a lot of creative ways. Even the wonder effect turns you into a little goo ball that can stick to walls and ceilings. 27. A final Uncharted Area, Poison Ruins. You'll be touching a lot of bulbs, which open a bunch of ruin sections. when suddenly goo starts rising and you need to get up top fast. This is a fun and frantic level, and the Wonder Effect lets us become a goo ball again, which I can appreciate. 26. Sproings in the Twilight Forest. Taking a Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze approach with this level, everything is in black outside of the background. It's a refreshing aesthetic, especially for a Mario game. And also, the Wonder Effect makes you long, tan, and handsome. I just love how absurd you look. Even the enemies get super long necks. And ducking reveals hidden purple coins and shortens the trees. This is such a creative level. 25. Petal Isle's Special Way of the Goomba. Yep, it sure is about the Goomba this time. It's really fascinating just realizing how limited Goomba's movement really is. You gotta do a lot of platforming and scary jumps to get through this level, and it's so much fun. 24. Light Switch Mansion. I'm a big fan of this level, mostly because King Boo is singing for the Wonder Effect, but there's also these scary-ass doors. They just try to eat you out of nowhere, and it's a bit shocking for a Mario game. It's also cool how the timer switches can be used in multiple ways. This level in particular turns on lights. 23. Mama Mouthful. I mean, come on, look at these guys. Aren't they just so stinking cute? This level has a lot of Mamas eating coins and Goombas, and then the Wonder Effect turns you into a Goomba. I love how they set this up, because now you have to be stealthy and hide behind trees to avoid getting eaten. 22. The Final Trial, Zip Track Dash. This is one of those great grind rail levels. Grabbing the Wonder Seed turns you into a Hoppy Cat, and you grind on rails the entire time. I mean, rail grinding is inherently a fun thing to do, so doing that while being this random enemy just makes it better. 21. The Hoppy Cat Trial. Hop, hoppin' away. So these new enemies, Hoppy Cats, jump when you jump. This creates a fairly interesting dilemma, seeing as you need to expect them to get in the way depending on where you are on the stage. And the Wonder Effect is awesome too. A few Hoppy Cats get massive and destroy the literal stage around us, so you need to not only dodge them, but also use them to make progress. 20. Where the Rumbas rule. If you ever wanted to be a spiky boulder, then this is the place for you. But in all seriousness, this is another level with lots of great drill areas. It just feels good chilling on the ceiling for half the time. 19. Pull, turn, burn. Hope you're a fan of pulling on pulleys. You'll need to do that to get fire and things out of your path. The level design is fairly intricate actually, which is nice to see this late in the game. And you even swim through lava for the Wonder Effect. Like I said, this game surprises you in ways you could never imagine. 18. Ninja Jump Party. This level is all about having fun. The entire point is to jump with a beat, and it's so adorable how whoever you're playing as shouts 1, 2, and 3 when you're getting the jump started. The song is an absolute bop too, and it's got ninjas with tambourines and dancing piranha plants. It's a super easy stage, but pure bliss to play. 17. Sun-Baked Desert Special Pole Block Allure. You climb a ton of poles, and that's basically the main idea. There's also blooms that like to get in your way, and the auto-scroller is fairly fast too. 16. Cosmic Hoppos, one of the few vertically based stages. And it's a really great one because you get to bounce off the hoppos on your way up, making the jumps feel really freeing. And the Wonder Effect sends you to goddamn space, which is simply awesome. 15. Roars in the ruins. I'm sorry, I just felt the need to growl there, but anyway, half the platforms only show up when you're near them. So once again, it's another callback to the Mario Galaxy level that did the same kind of thing, and there's a lot of great mini puzzles found here, and the Wonder Seed has us walking on the wall again, which is always a treat. 14. Condarts Away. Apparently that's what these pesky birds are called. If you get in their line of sight, they'll swoop down and try to attack with their beak. This extra tension adds a lot to this level. It makes you think more clearly about how to go about it. And the Wonder Effect is sick. You start walking around on the wall. We've seen it a few times already, but it's still so cool. And the purple coins, for some reason, run away from you? I don't know why, but you know what? I could play an entire mini-size Mario game in this style. 13. Deep Magma Bog Special Solar Roller. It's another spike ball rolling level, but now with timer blocks so you can't make many mistakes. I like how intense this one can get. It makes it really fun to try to get better and better at. 12. Fungi Mine's Special Dangerous Donut Ride. This stage gives me slight anxiety, and I kind of like that. You gotta avoid all these spikes at the beginning, and then you're sent free-falling while surrounded by one-hit KO goo lava. It's a thrilling one, I'll give them that. 11. Shining Fall Special Triple Threat Deluge. I adore that the beginning of this one is 1-1. Nintendo always tastefully references this stage in their modern Mario titles, although most of the level is about the Wonder Seed, in which you walk on the wall. But now, you have a bunch of bouncy things to worry about, and you have to lure spikes to break open pathways. 10. Jewel Block Cave. Here's the first place we use the drill power-up in. It's a great starting level, so you can get used to how it works. You also got these conch guys that try to smash you to smithereens, and the Wonder Effect adds this huge conch that's genuinely frightening. I mean, look at this scenario. We have to drill through all this ground to avoid getting squished as fast as possible, and it's awesome. 9. Downpour Uproar. This is actually a really cool beach level since clouds and rain take a huge part in it. You can literally swim up the clouds to get to higher places, which is an awesome concept on its own. But better, the Wonder Effect takes you into a windy thunderstorm with lightning that you have to avoid. This is one of the most creative and enjoyable levels out there. 8. The Semi-Final Test Piranha Plant Reprise. If you like the first Dancing Piranha Plant level, then you'll love this one. It's the same kind of idea, but the song is more upbeat and the auto-scrolling does not play around. By the end, you go so fast that it's easy to be stuck on the very left of the screen, and you're just praying you can make all the jumps without dying. 7. Knucklefest Bowser's Blazing Beats. A bunch of fiery fists keep punching at the ground, and you have to avoid them throughout the whole level. The idea works well, and the level design is switched up constantly. And the Wonder Seed turns into another song number, but you have to avoid the fist to the beat. Once again, another fantastic level. 6. High Voltage Gauntlet, an electric-themed level. Now, that's something I didn't expect. The entire area is dark outside of Lightning Burst, and the Wonder Effect makes you metal and plays the Metal Mario music. This level kicks ass, there's no doubt about it. 5. Evade the Secret Bullet Bills. I'm honestly shocked that Nintendo is still coming up with inventive kinds of bullet bills. These are seeking ones that keep coming after you until you take them out. The entire level is based around this, and the Wonder Effect turns the ground into an airship with a massive cannon. Nintendo really saved the best ideas for last, didn't they? 4. The Final Battle, Bowser's Rage Stage. As disappointing as most of the boss fights are, the final boss is at least amazing in some ways. It starts off with quite a build-up. Lots of previous Wonder Effects happen back to back, really making you reminisce on how amazing the entire game is. You slowly make your way to the castle, and Bowser finally appears. The battle is very music-based. The platforms rise up to the beat of the song, and you need to smash Bowser's hands as well as his, neck button? I guess that's what that is? Either way, the song slaps, and this fight is tons of fun. Although I gotta be honest, it's very easy. Like, the hands really aren't much of a threat. The most you'll need to avoid is some fire and spike balls, but they're very slow, and you even get power-ups throughout the battle. Bowser doesn't seem like he actually wants to fight. He barely puts one up at all. I'm pretty sure he's just there for the music, and you know what? I can appreciate that. 3. The Final Test, Wonder Gauntlet. A gauntlet is definitely one way of putting it. This level throws almost every Wonder Effect at you at once. They do this in the final boss level too, but with the Final Test, the platforming is a bit more difficult. 2. Fluff Puff Peak's Special Climb to the Beat. I cannot believe Nintendo made a level this precise and tricky, and I love them for it. It's the same as Jump Jump Jump, but much, much harder. There's almost no time for messing up your jumps, and the end is terrifying when you have to wall jump off the tiniest blocks and there's lava following you from behind. This level is an absolute banger. 1. The Final Test Badge Marathon. This is the ultimate test. A large chunk of badges are given a section that you must complete, and they can be quite nail-biting. The Spring Badge has us jumping over fast-moving fire bars. Invisibility forces us to jump off freaking blooms, and don't get me started on the entire wall climb segment. Now, I gotta be real here, and say that Nintendo has definitely produced harder levels in the past. The Perfect Run and Champions Road are still much harder because they don't have checkpoints, while this particular level gave us a few. I get why they did it, but I also wish that they didn't have them because the tension would be so much higher. But regardless, I'm so glad that we're getting ultra hard stages at the end of Mario games now is just a tradition. Add Flexispot. I'd like to talk to you about Flexispot, today's sponsor. I recently got this desk, and I've really been digging it. My old standing desk was broken anyway, so this is a great replacement. Standing desks should definitely be more of the norm because as someone that sits all day, it is really nice to be able to just stand up for a little bit, stretch my legs out, and when mine broke, I really wanted to get one anyway that would be a solid replacement. It raises up and down perfectly without any issues, even with all 3 of my monitors hooked up. In fact, this desk can support up to 440 pounds with no stability issues, which is pretty insane. Flexispot has all kinds of standing desks, as well as ergonomic chairs to pick from. If you want a standing desk with a T-frame, you can grab the E7 basic frame, or if you're on a budget, then the E2 model will work too. It's priced at $150, which is a very solid price for a standing desk. Flexispot has helped me feel more productive, so if you want to try these standing desks, you can use code YTB30 for $30 off on orders over $500. There's a ton of levels in this game, and it's hard to argue that any of them are truly that bad. Most of the levels are a blast to play through, especially with the way they're all spread out. But with that, thanks for watching.